Hello, everybody. Justin here. I am so sorry that it has taken me so long to post an update on this page, on this channel, rather. It's been a very, very interesting journey since the last time I posted an update. So, firstly, I guess I'll start out by reminding those of you that were paying attention and following me when I was actively posting updates for a short period of time, that this channel, the original intent for this channel was to not only post updates about my journey and updates about my own health and wellness and, coming back into not only the knowledge but the lifestyle of well-rounded health, but it was also to post educational knowledge about health and to do Mythbusters and to expose some of the lies that a lot of us are told by media and marketing and certain organizations in America that are in control in one way or another of the food industry. I have, since the creation of this channel, recruited a board or a panel, if you will, of people. The purpose of this panel can't necessarily be disclosed at this time. However, this panel has a very, very strong say-so in what I can and cannot post on this channel. Be that as it may, the decision was made that I can't post any of the educational things that I was going to post. I can't post any of the Mythbusters, and I can't, crush some of those myths and expose some of the companies and organizations that are behind some of the misleading. However, I will say this, that those things will come forth and from me, but not on this channel. They will come through different platforms when the time is right. So for about the next 12 months or so, I am going to be on this journey to becoming the Justin that Justin is, or Justin was. The real Justin, the true Justin, the Justin that I have been fighting to get back to for the last 5 years or so of my life. Maybe a little longer than that. So, I have been through a lot of things since the last time I posted a video. And currently, right now, I am on the highway heading back to Peoria, Illinois, which is home from Nashville, Tennessee, where my little sister lives. Her and her 2 kids were staying with me for about a month and a half. And now I am, so I brought them back down to Nashville about a week and a half ago and ended up staying longer than what I planned on, and I'm just now coming back. It was great family bonding time, sister bonding time. I said that to say that since I knew that I was coming to Nashville, Tennessee, I decided to leave my scale at home so that I could not weigh myself while I was down here, because I knew that Mother's Day was going to happen while I was here, and this is the first Mother's Day that I had without my mother. God rest her soul. It was a hard one. It was very, very, very hard. I have never experienced that level of grief before. And I've lost a lot of people in my life, and a lot of things, and a lot of situations. And I said that to say we don't only grieve over people, we grieve over anything we lose. We lose relationships, we lose people, we lose things, we lose things that we're a part of, we lose jobs. Whatever you lose, a lot of times we have emotional attachments that are tied to things and people that we lose, and we have to grieve. Well, I had never experienced this level of grief. It was very overwhelming, and I mean, in every sense of the word, overwhelming. It was very, very heavy. Me and my mother had a relationship that most sons and mothers don't develop. They don't get as deep as we were. That was my best friend, and even though there are thousands and millions of mama's boys, on this planet, my mother raised me in perfect love, and that's the love that is a love that most people never even learn of, but I was raised in that, and that same love that was deposited within me, it matured with me as I grew up, and then I turned right back around with that same love and was able to take care of my mother and drop my entire life to make sure she was okay. And if I could do it all over again, sign me up, okay? But anyway, I knew that I was going to have a little bit of a lapse. So I'd say about 6 days before we left Peoria, I started transitioning back to Nutritarian, which is amazing. It is so exciting for me. This is what I have been trying to pull myself to come back to for years now. For the past 6 or 7 years of my life that I've been fighting to get the Justin back. Being a Nutritarian is a huge part of that, because having your physical being in alignment and having it healthy is connected to emotional health, is connected to spiritual health, is connected to mental health, and so even financial health is a big part of that. And a lot of people don't understand why all of these areas of health are all connected and in how many different ways they're connected. But that is definitely something that will be coming from a different platform as I dig back into education and all that good stuff. This video is simply just to give an update on my life and how I'm doing. Those people that are rooting for me, those people that are supporting me, those people that are even just spectating, all of you, this is for you. So for the 5 days that I was transitioning back to Nutritarian, and for those of you that don't know what Nutritarians are people, it's a diet, or not a diet, I hate the word diet, it's a lifestyle that was designed by a celebrity doctor. His name is Dr. Furman. I call him my doctor because, I feel like he is, even though I've never seen him in person. And Nutritarians only eat foods that are nutrient dense. So foods that are high in nutrients. Not highly caloric foods or anything like that. So basically, Nutritarians cannot have anything that is processed. So, well, almost anything that is processed. Mostly we can't have things that are processed. So a lot of things that are in a bag, in a can, in a jar, whatever, a lot of those processed things we cannot touch. No animal products, and no unrefined sugars, no unrefined oil, and no salt. Yeah. So anyway, for the 5 days before we left, I lost 11 pounds in 5 days. Wow. And so that's crazy. And basically, I wasn't even fully converted, and I'm still not fully converted back to Nutritarian yet. What my plan was originally was to take 7 days or a week, and have nutritarian breakfast and dinner, and then lunch is open. I can pretty much eat whatever for lunch, and I say that very lightly because it's really not whatever for lunch. I actually still have to be very conscious of what I eat and put into my body. So it's just that there are certain restrictions that are taken off, such as I can have salt and I can have oil and I can have sugar, but moderately, just to kind of help my body transition and ease back into everything. With this, I have also completely cut off eating after 8 o'clock p.m. And of course, I still only drink water. That's still a thing. I left other sodas and juices and all that other stuff alone many months ago. So I still drink water. Not necessarily drinking a whole gallon of water every day like I was doing for a period, because the nutritarian lifestyle, there's so much water in the fruits and vegetables that I consume that it's really not necessary. And like I've said in past videos, too much of anything can hurt you, even too much water. So all things in moderation. So it's doing okay. I knew that Nashville was going to be a little bit of a lapse, which it was. But today I am officially back on the ball, and I'm ready to get back to the scale, and I'm ready to see how I'm doing. I'm ready to get back on the grind. But I'm going to tell you guys what, a lot of people, even personal trainers and nutritionists and all these people who work in the health industry, they will say that it's not a good thing to weigh yourself every day. My testimony is completely different from that. I can't get with that. I guess everybody's different. That's fine. But for me, I weigh myself every day, and it is beneficial to me. The reason why it's beneficial to me is because weighing myself from day to day tells me a lot about my body. It tells me a lot about how my body responds to what I put in my body. It tells me a lot about how my body responds to activity. What I did the day before, it tells me a lot about my body. And so the first time around, when I lost all the weight, 169 pounds, a whole person, wow. The first time around, I did that. And, it kept me accountable day by day to everything I ate. It kept me accountable to my activities, what I was doing, exercising. If I had like extra things that I did in a day, such as I had an extra 3 rehearsals that I went to yesterday, and then after rehearsal I went for a late night walk, or whatever it was, it showed up in the scale. Always showed up in the scale the next day, always. And so, I knew that as I slept during the night, my body was at work doing a lot of things. And you get up in the middle of the night, or you get up in the morning when you first wake up and you go urinate. That's a lot of things that your body is passing. So whether it been from exercise or drinking water or whatever the case might have been, after I weighed myself after I urinated, that was my true weight in that moment, in real time. And so that gave me a snapshot of how my body was responding to everything that I did for the past 24 hours. And so that is that is a big way that I keep myself accountable. And if I do something bad, I sometimes paid the price on the scale, and sometimes I didn't. My body, it depends on your body. Like I said, everybody's body is different. But the scale it won't lie. It just won't. It's simple as that. The scale will not lie to you. And so, yeah, that's out of the way. I weigh myself every morning, and I can't wait to get back to Peoria. I got about 2.5 hours before I get back home. This is a 6.5 hour drive. But yeah, I'm doing really well. I can't wait until I reach losing another 20 pounds. Well, or should I say not another 20 pounds, but 20 pounds from the last 20 pounds that I 20 pounds from the first 20 pounds that I lost. It's going to be very exciting. So I said in the video, or some videos back that I posted on this page, that after I lose, every 20 pounds I lose, I can have a night out, and it would be, I would be allowed to have 3 servings of alcohol, whether it be 3 shots, 3 glasses of wine, 3 cocktails, martinis, whatever. I have to 3 is the magic number, and I have to stop. That's still a thing. So I'm excited to get to that next point, because every 20 pounds I lose is a milestone for me. Because if you break 200 pounds down in 20s, that's 2 sets of 5. That's 10. So it's like I have 10 milestones to accomplish, and every time I get past another one, it's a good reason to celebrate. It's let's turn up a little bit, right? Which of course then in turn makes the next day a little bit monstrous, because in my mind I have to overcompensate for the celebrating I just did last night. See, it's all connected for me, like it all works together. So I'm going to work that much harder for the next 20 pounds, because that's also working that much harder is going to put me in the mindset for the next round of 20 pounds that I have to lose, because, you know, the lower I get in weight, the harder I'm going to have to work. It's not going to come off as easy as the last 20 pounds did, because my body mass is not as big anymore, right? So, yep, we're almost at 20 minutes now, so I am going to get off of here. I thank you guys for all the people that are supporting me. I am grateful for all the phone calls, the text messages, the emails, even the messages on here. Like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of that. I am really, really excited. This is a very emotional experience. Like, extremely emotional. I think that one of the biggest things that I had to overcome with this is guilt and shame. The guilt that I face from myself, at myself, for allowing myself to get in this place and allowing life's obstacles and things to cause me to revert back to this place, and the shame of all the people who saw it, and all the people that I made proud for losing the weight the first time and getting healthy the first time in all areas of my life, and then for them to see me completely backtrack. It was very, very shameful. And those were 2 things that I had to overcome in my mind before I could really, really get back on the ball, is the guilt and the shame. I had to forgive myself, and I had to not necessarily ask people to forgive me, because I had to forgive myself, but I also had to get over the shame, because it was very shameful. It was embarrassing. And so at this point now, there have been a lot of things that I've gone through mentally and emotionally that I've had to navigate through in order to return to this very point where I'm actually able to be happy again and work myself towards greater levels of happiness. And I'll tell you now, I saw on Facebook this morning a post, and the post was of this race that I ran some years ago. And in this race, it was a neon color vibe race, and I loved those because, you know, all like the flashes of color and the splashes of color. You get to, you know, you can spray on yourself or like pour on yourself or get blasted in your face, and you do it to other people, and you know, it's kind of a fun time. But for me, it was it was the race that was so much fun. And so I just remember this one situation that happened at that race. I was with 2 associates of mine, and I remember everybody being in the like the waiting area waiting for the race to begin. And there was this big concert, and there were all these things going on, all these festivities and these tables and booths and stuff like that. And there was a group of Army guys that were standing around, and they were just cocky, just as arrogant as all get out. And they were bragging about how much they lift and how they run like 2 miles a morning, and this race is nothing. This is gonna be like, I can't remember what they said, but they were just pretty much downplaying it like it was nothing. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, these guys were very cut. They were fit. They had 6-packs. Like, they kept lifting up their shirts and showing off and just all kinds of stuff, flexing their muscles and the whole 9 yards. And I remember when oh my gosh, what was it? When the gun went off, he shot into the sky to start the race, they took off. Like, they took off. Like, they were gone. We were all left in their dust. About halfway through the race, which was about 1.5, maybe to 1.7 miles into the race, the group of guys, I ran up on them, and I started to pass them by, and I smiled at them as I was passing them by because, honestly, I really wanted to laugh, but I couldn't laugh because running is rhythmic. Distance running is rhythmic for me, and so my breaths are syncopated with my footsteps. So if I laughed or talked or whatever, that was going to make me lose my syncopation, and I was going to get thrown off, and I wouldn't be as winded. So anyway, I passed them up, and I did say something to them. I did say, slow and steady wins. I said, slow and steady wins the race, boys. And then I just kept going, and I mean, they were like, you could just see the guilt, or not the guilt, but the disgust on their face. Like, who does he think he is? Like, we're better than that. And then a couple of it even tried to speed up, but they were just so out of breath, and they were just like, gasping, and it was the funniest thing. I guess they had only been used to running whatever, that 2 miles a morning or whatever, and they just never really stretched themselves, and they never learned how to pace themselves. They just, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, I'm done. Record time. Sprinting and distance running, they are 2 completely different things, and they require 2 different mindsets to be successful. I was a distance runner. I was not a sprinter, and I would be the first to tell you that. Anybody wants to race me, I used to be when I was younger, but I don't know about now. Well, not now. I'm not either right now. But, when I was a runner a few years ago, I don't know if I would have still been good at sprinting or not. That wasn't my thing. It was all about weight loss, and it was all about being a long distance runner because I aspired to run a marathon. And that's still one of my aspirations. It's on my bucket list, and I will do it. But anyway, yeah, I ended up finishing in the top 5 people in that race, and I was very, very proud of myself. I finished in like 26.4 minutes, and it was a 5K, which 5Ks used to take me about 3.2 or 30, was it 32 minutes to finish, 32 point something minutes to finish, because I usually ran a 10-minute mile at that time, but I didn't start really picking up speed more until after that race. But anyway, yeah, that was funny, but it really it hit me here in the heart, and it was emotional because I remember how running used to make me feel, and I remember how those days were the best days of my life. And I remember being so fulfilled and just so carefree, just stress-free. Like any stress that I had going on, I could just release it in my run. And, you know, sometimes as I was running, I would just think about those things that were starting to stress me out or that would normally stress me out, and I would just release it in the run. It was the best thing. It was the best thing. And I just felt that feeling when I thought about it. I felt the feeling on the inside of me, like it was just a warm feeling. And I miss that. I miss that a lot. I miss it. And so I really can't wait to get to it. I would say at this point right now, I have to lose about another 80 pounds before I can safely start running again, which for me is nothing. I mean, it's going to happen pretty quickly, very quickly, actually. The thing that a lot of people will say is that, you know, please don't lose weight too fast, you know, as if I have a dial or something that I can set on a specific number to tell my body not to lose weight this fast or that slow or whatever. Listen, I'll tell you this, guys, you know, starving yourself is unhealthy. Yes, doing that to lose weight is unhealthy. Having surgeries is unhealthy. No judgment whatsoever, just stating facts. Taking supplements that are chemical, not natural, is also unhealthy. We have all these different gimmicks and all these different ways of losing weight that are unhealthy. And yeah, your body losing weight is unhealthy in those ways. But when you lose weight naturally, and you set yourself up to regain health and let your body decide what it wants to do and how fast it wants to shed that weight, you're golden. And so for me, that's the route I chose to take. I always wanted to say that when I lost weight, I wanted it to be all natural. I didn't want anything to be artificial. I didn't want to have any surgeries. I didn't want it to be because of any supplements. I didn't want anything unnatural. I wanted to lose it just the way I gained it, you know? And so I did just that the first time, and I'm going to do just that the second time. I'm a little bit more educated now the second time, though, because of the things that I've experienced and the things that I learned the first time around. I didn't actually become nutritarian the first time until I was about 240 pounds. And I was a runner at that point. I was running 5Ks everywhere at that point, and I just could not get below 240. It would not happen. I think there was like one time I got to 238, but that was about the lowest. That was the lowest. And I just could not get below that. And so my good friend Rachel, hi Rachel, she's probably going to comment on this video. She introduced me to a book called Eat to Live by Dr. Fuhrman. And that is where I was introduced to the nutritarian diet, because I was telling her, I was like, I don't know what else to do. I can't lose any more weight. I'm running, I'm eating pretty good from what I thought. You know, I was vegetarian and, you know, whatever. I mean, it should be working. It wasn't. And so, anyway, when I switched to nutritarian, boom, within like, I don't know, what was it, 2 weeks, I was like 218. And then that's when my healthy lifestyle ended. That's when I was sent to Bloomington, Illinois to manage a store, and walked into some very toxic situations, including a very toxic relationship. And from there, everything snowballed. But anyway, here we are. And so this is Project Deja Vu, and you know, I am one of the people who I'll be one of these people that will quote, "Never say never." Excuse me, and I stand by that in most cases. However, I am going to say that I'm never going to do this again. You hear that? I'm never going through this again. Once I get this weight off this time, that is it. I am not gaining all this weight back again. And I've been journaling and so on and so forth, and it was very unhealthy for me to gain all this weight back and then lose it again. Like, that's taking your body through all that stress and all those changes. It is unhealthy, but I would rather lose this weight one final time than to keep it on and remain unhealthy forever. It just makes more sense to me. So anyway, now we're at 30 minutes. God, I can talk. So anyway, feel free to post in the comments. I do respond to all comments. Feel free, say whatever is on your mind. You can ask questions. I am very open. I'm very liberal. I'm transparent. You can ask me anything you want to ask me. Share my page, my channel rather, and subscribe. Please subscribe and hit the little bell to get notifications on activity when it happens. Thank you guys so much, and until next time, I will still be getting my life back. Love you all.